is a fun one. Dennis Prager and Jordan Peterson analyze Exodus. Exodus chapter 1, verses 15 through 16. Of course, in my days of atheist Bible study, I too have read such a thing. I don't quite remember it. I wish my Bible were here, but I don't know where it's at right now. But we can, yes, quite intellectual. I would love to, yes, I, a conservative man, yes, let me, quickly, I shall, one moment, I need to, wife, bring me a drink. She brought me a drink, there we go. My wife brought me a drink, I shall have my cigarette. My marijuana cigarette. I don't tell. And I shall sit down for a nice evening of intellectualism, because I choose as a manly man, to watch Dennis Prager and Jordan Peterson analyze Exodus instead of spending time with my wife or children. This is what I do with my time. Yes. Please tell me, Dr. Jordan.
When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women and see them upon the birthing stools, if it be a son, then you shall kill him. And that's that instrumental usage that you were talking about before.
There is...
Oh my God. This is a Bible study, but it's cringe. I'm the only... Look, I am 50% of all the people who have ever done a cool Bible study, okay? I'm 50% of them. There's only been 50%. Or one other person, okay? And that's Hannah. We're the only ones. This is cringe, dude. Look at these fucking dweebs. Wore their fucking suit jackets to this thing. Got on a round table, got cameras out. Lame. Lame. Oh, God. I don't see a single logic explosion anywhere. Is there Jesus or Moses? Nope. Nowhere to be seen.
A huge issue here. The Hebrew is completely indeterminative whether the midwives were Hebrews or not. Mialdota Ivriot, and I'm not going to throw out Hebrew often. I feel very self-conscious at all.
Oh my God, dude. That made me, like, did you guys feel like your virginity, like, dry back up into you? Like, did you feel it? Like, any time you've nut recently, like, did you feel like it just, like, it stops counting? This is gonna take years off our sex lives.
But for those who know Hebrew, they will know what I'm talking about. It can be the Hebrew midwives or the midwives of the Hebrews. There is no possible way, based on those two words, to know which it is. I am convinced, and Jewish tradition doesn't agree with me.
Ooh, soft boy Dennis Prager sheepish about his Hebrew.
I mean, post-biblical Jewish tradition. The Torah, I think, does agree with me, but c'est la vie. I believe they were Egyptian. I do not believe he would have ordered Hebrew midwives to murder every Hebrew boy.
Do you think there's a purposeful ambiguity there to leave it up to question?
That's beautiful. It may well be. That's right. Well, it certainly is. The Hebrew is ambiguous. That is correct.
Because, I mean, if a tyranny gets corrupt enough, then people turn against themselves.
That's right. However, just on logical grounds, when he gets angry at them for not doing it, it would be odd he'd get angry at Hebrews for not killing Hebrews. But my biggest proof you're coming to, where it says that they feared God.
Look at how fucking seriously he's taking this. This is like a snapshot on how these guys fucking operate. This is a facade, though. I mean, maybe not for Jordan Peterson, but for most dudes. Jordan Peterson, I think, sincerely wants to be this guy, which is most cringe of all. He's post-cringe. Once you get... Like, Dennis Prager isn't... He was even like, oh, I don't want to speak the Hebrew. If Jordan Peterson knew Hebrew, he'd fucking speak it. And he would just say it, and he wouldn't qualify. Because he is post-cringe. All right? Which makes him a dangerous right-wing individual. This is what happens, right? When you're just so fucking self-serious, you're just like, ah, yes. Now, if I'm going to be a Nazi, I better fucking be one, right? Like he's taking this as like a discipline. He's like learning the steps. Weird shit. Neo cringe. Yeah, exactly, dude. I like it when he cries. Yeah, that's how I can tell he's in it. You know what I mean?
God and didn't listen to Pharaoh. Again, it's one of my favorite lines in the whole Bible. You either fear humans or you fear God. Fear God is the root of freedom
wisdom,
and wisdom.
Fear God is the root of freedom and wisdom. Fear neither. I'm the true intellectual, chat.
And the word
Love his mouth slaps. Love his mouth slaps. More, please, Dennis.
for God is not Jehovah or Yahweh, it's Elohim. So when Jews fear God, it's generally fear Yahweh, and in this case, it's fear Elohim, the universal word for God, and I am convinced that they are Egyptians.
Douglas, do you have any sense of what it means in this passage and more broadly that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom and an appropriate, let's say, precondition for freedom? What?
Wow. Holy fuck, dude. I can't imagine. This is just a clip from this. This is just a clip. It's under 5 minutes long. Do you feel like you've been here for 20 minutes? I mean, maybe we have been, but like, boy, does it feel like we've experienced them for 20 minutes. Not just me talking and you hanging out. I feel like they've been droning for 20 minutes. It's been 2 minutes and 28 seconds. It's just wild stuff. It is wild.
Why do you think it's conceptualized as fear?
Well, I think there's
Oh, fuck. I didn't think that was what sound was going to come out of that.
a proper fear that in this case I think is linked to transcendence. So,
Yes. I thought this... well, this is quite interesting. I thought this was a group that would help me finally make my wife come. But it appears that nobody here knows where the clitoris is, even after many hours of asking and Googling. We've found nothing. We haven't gotten past the concept of ought women even achieve climax to begin with. For is that even the reason for sexual intercourse? I digress.
there's the fear of the tyrant, which is normal and natural, and which we are all subject to. But there should be a greater fear, i.e. the fear of the transcendent
Violating
principle,
it.
Violating that,
Right,
yes.
right.
And of course, this is why the postmodern attack on traditional Western culture is so dangerous. I mean, of course, it goes back to the very origins of Western culture with the sophists, but the idea that there is no such thing as an objective moral order, and there certainly is no transcendent basis for that, that would make this whole...
He looks like he was dressed to play this role in a comedy about dudes like this. This looks like Between Two Ferns, dude. I don't know how they... This is a real life individual. Is there a wedding ring in sight, by the way, besides Jordan?
It also makes
Dennis?
the tyrant the final arbiter in some real sense, right?
I'm going to judge them on their own standards.
People have asked me, and I'm always embarrassed by this, but people have commented on my courage for speaking up, so to speak. And I think you don't actually understand the situation. I'm not courageous in my speaking up. I'm more afraid of the alternative. And part of the reason for that was that when I was a...
He's literally putting himself on the cross in the middle of a Bible study. There's nothing more Jordan Peterson than this. This is distilled, like high-octane Jordan Peterson right here.
Clinician, and I spent thousands, tens of thousands of hours dealing with people's serious problems. One of the things I learned was, and I really learned this, was that you don't get away with anything. And so you might think you can bend the fabric of reality and that you can treat people instrumentally and that you can bow to the tyrant without and violate your conscience without cost, but that is just not the case. You will pay the piper.
I think it's interesting that he just said that he has to stand by his right-wing convictions because he fears God's wrath in the event that he doesn't. That's the justification he has now. I don't fear them, the libs. I fear God. What I'll do if I don't spread his fucking dork-ass words, I suppose. Do you think God wanted you to be a dork-ass? Like when God was sitting around the pool of time, and the cauldron of creation was crackling with the fire of what God's will and intent. Was about to spoon out portion of the universe that would be Earth and all the people, and he was like, "Ah, yes," and down to because in his omnipotence and omniscience, he knows every little thing all at once, and so he designed us from the molecular fabric of our reality. And you think this God intended for you to be a dork ass? I just falls apart for me, man. I just don't think that's it. Tea with the Goblins, thanks for the 95 biddies. He sounds like a tweed jacket was possessed by the spirit of Oswald Mosley.